We have now added resources for both the Android and the iOS projects that are going to be the icons that we need inside of the application. These icons are going to be added to toolbar items and are going to be added to tabs inside of the tabbed page. It's time for us to set those icons. And most of them are going to be set inside of the homepage.saml, where we have one of the two toolbar items and all three of the tabs. Now, since we are going to be using icons that are on Android and iOS and that are different files and different locations, but from the portable class library, we do want to make sure of one thing. And that is that the files are named the exact same way. For example, on iOS, on the resources folder, we have the add, the home, the map, the save, and the user icons. Those are their names. But on Android, we actually have slightly different names. On the resources folder, on each drawable folder, their names are set a little bit different. So all we have to do is click on the name so we can change it and name it the exact same way that we have on iOS. For example, for the add icon, we just write add. For the home icon, we remove the first part of the name and leave home only. And for the map as well, for the icon that we have that is called IC Action Person, we have to change this to be user because that's the name that we have on iOS. And for this save icon, it's just going to be save. And we do have to do this on the rest of the drawable folders. But once we have it, we'll be able to set only once the icon on all of these elements and be able to reuse what is defined on Android and on iOS. Once we are sure that the name on all of the drawable folders inside of our Android project is the same that we have on iOS and vice versa, we can set the icons. And we can start, like I said, with the home page. And all we have to do is write icon in the case of the toolbar item and set it, in this case, to add.png, which is the name of the add icon that we're going to have on both Android and on iOS. Of course, on Android, it is going to be on different folders depending on the resolution. And in the case of iOS, it's going to have add2 or add3 depending on the scenario of the phone where this is running. But the base name is add and it is a PNG file in both cases. Now for the tabs, it's going to be the exact same thing. Each tab also has an icon property. And in this case, we can set home for the history, which is the name of the file that I have. For the map, the icon is going to be map.png. And for the profile, the icon is going to be user.png. Finally, there is another SAML where we have to set the icon. And that is the new travel page, where we have a toolbar item. And this toolbar item is also going to have an icon that in this case is going to be save.png. And this is pretty much everything that we have to do. I'm going to run this on an Android simulator first. And once the app is up and running, we can log in. And immediately you can see how we already have the icon set up. We have the icon for the history page, for the map page, for the profile page, for the add toolbar item. And if we click on this one, we get navigated to the new travel page where we also have this save icon. And notice that in the case of the toolbar items, the icon is overriding the text. In the case of the toolbar items, we no longer see the text, we only see the icon. In the case of the tabs, we do see the text along with the icon. You can always remove the text if all you want to display is the icon. And so we are already displaying this on Android. Now let's run this on an iOS simulator as well. Since we already have the same icons on iOS that are called the same way, and we have the add2 and the add3 icons, and we're already establishing the values from the portable class library, this should also work perfectly. So I have here the iOS application, and I can log in, and you can see how, just like on Android, we can see the icons as well. Now iOS does something interesting here. It's not really using the color of the icons, it's replacing it to the color of the theme. And by default, the theme is this blue color. And notice how even when our icons were white, they are now blue in the case of the icons that are selected in the tab or the icons in the toolbar, and gray in the case of those icons that are not selected. So I can navigate to the map tab, and now this one turns blue and the history page turns gray, and the same for the profile, of course. And then I can navigate to the new travel page and see that the save icon is also in there. So now we are displaying icons on both Android and iOS that are added to each of the projects, but that are accessed directly from XAML on the portable class library. So during this section, we have learned how to display images into the application. In the next section, we're going to create the functionality for us to complete the profile page that is currently empty. Well, it has a label only. And for that, we're going to be using a lot of LINQ, which is a very cool feature that we have available.